is going to bring the fashion to the board, but we are underway. 1d4 by Mr. Vidit. Let's go.
And Vidit Gujrathi, here he is locked into the board after getting a little bit of mental rest. And for Nodirbek Abdusattorov, there is a lot of pressure on him. As you said, Danya, a year ago, he was in the tournament lead, heading into the very last round, where he lost Dress to the Nines, Jordan van Forest. So for Nodirbek Abdusattorov, with the black pieces here, and with Vidit's stellar preparation from a day ago, I'm very curious to see how this opening develops.
Me too. Yesterday, Vidit with the black pieces playing an incredible tactical display against Parham Maksudlu. He was in preparation up until move 16 or 17, but we are not used to Nodirbek getting out prepared. Nodirbek himself has come armed with so many different weapons, Robert, with both colors. He plays just about everything. Very, very difficult to predict what we're going to see here. And Vidit taking a little pause after the move e6. Obviously, the big crossroads here. Knight f3, knight c3, or g3, all viable options. And now it's black, who's at a crossroads. We've seen a lot of Bogo Indians, Robert, in this tournament. We've also seen d7, d5 featured a lot. We haven't seen a lot of Queens Indians. What are we going to get from Nodirbek here?
I don't think we'll get a Benoni type of position, that's for sure. That would be way too risky for this moment. And we see d5 played. This, I think, is a good call from him. He's just trying to challenge for the center. We all can see that with black, you've just extended your queen's pawn forward. White has already put 2 pawns on his own 4th rank. So you're gaining aces black, controlling the center. And this is a pawn sacrifice. So one of these questions, Danya, I always wonder at this high level, when do they choose to play the more aggressive game from the black side? If you're Nodirbek Abdusattorov, a draw feels good enough, but you don't want to rest on your laurels. There's still a whole day of chess tomorrow. So do you keep it sharp? Do you keep it interesting? Or do you just try to shut it down when you can? Because look at this guy here, Vidit Gujrathi. He is going to try and outlast his opponent. He doesn't mind a long endgame grind if he has the slight pull.
We've seen just about everything in this position. We saw in the game Ju and Jun versus Maksudlu, the ultra combative stick on the board.
Yeah, we might even
Okay.
see this happen. Rook G1,
Rook
but yeah,
E5.
let's show it.
So king F5 check you wanted to play.
I thought about it, yes. King F5.
And
King
the basic
E7.
idea is here, this is mate, and king C6, finally White is able to infiltrate, and still Black can hold with Rook F1, but combining the threats of H6 and king F7, it looks like White is able to seal the deal.
That was my
this is 1-1.
exact plan. Yes, that was the way I was thinking this game would go, but it's taken so much to get that white king to an important square. And Rook E5, protecting the bishop, H5, H6 becomes an idea. The black king still in that checkmating net. So king F8, Rook D5 looks quite attractive. And Rook D5 actually next in many of the positions looks appealing, as long as you can trade off not just the bishops, but the rooks as well.
Also, combine that with the idea of H5. Black has to wait. There's just nothing to do here for Nodirbek. I think he has to go Rook G2. And does Rook D5 at that point finally win by force?
I think it does. Bishop E7. Bishop E7 allows a mass liquidation, which is necessary for White to win this game, because we can just show that very quickly. In fact,
sure.
Rook G2, Rook D5, Rook D8 checkmate is the threat. Let's say you play Rook E2, King F5. You still need to stop Rook D8 to Bishop E7. But now I take your bishop on E7, and no matter what you take with Rook E5 check, that should be the death knell. And finally, at long last, I can trade the necessary pieces. This is almost a stalemate, which is funny, but Black has pawns remaining, and so there's no hope there.
But the basic idea is, Rook E5 has been found by Vidit, and you can just tell in the time usage that Nodirbek is realizing what the threat is. He is looking everywhere, looking at everything. I would maybe try Rook to D1 here, Robert, just to pose White with one last dilemma, but Rook D5 is automatic in that position. Endgame. This is the first thing that we established is the easiest to win because the pawn is in a dark square and because it is so easy for White to create a passed pawn.
And I'm just going to mention the A pawn is on the wrong promotions color with the dark square bishop, but the good news is there's so many other pawns remaining. So this bishop and pawn endgame, it will be a straightforward win for Vidit. So finally, we see the finish line. It's taken what feels like forever, but that's real credit to Nodirbek for being tenacious, and also credit to Vidit for using his time and making sure that he doesn't spoil his advantage.
Yeah, it's very, very easy when you look at this with a computer to say, Vidit's technique was sloppy. Vidit's technique was anything but sloppy. It was actually incredible. Were there moments when he could have won the game more efficiently? Yes, but he never let the win slip. And it was never actually that close. Even with a minute on his clock, that meditation before the game, I'm just so impressed with Vidit's composure, with his universality and his ability to deliver in these critical moments. This is a very important skill, Robert, for the Candidates Tournament. And I think he's making a serious claim that he is not to be overlooked as we move forward into the most important tournament of the year.
And I think when he won the Grand Swiss, there were people saying, okay, Vidit, we know him. He's a familiar name. He's been 27-20 for a long time, but can he really compete with the 2800s like Fabiano Caruana or Hikaru Nakamura? Is that possible? But Vidit is showing that maybe he's not 27-20 anymore. He's about to hit 27-50. And when he wins this game, he's going to be a top 10 player in the world, and he may win this Wijk tournament, and in such different styles in these last two games, Danya. He played a tactical skirmish with Parham, and now it's been a long positional grind up a pawn. So Vidit, he has that universality that you're talking about.
And here we go. As you said, the death knell begins to ring. King to F8, probably the most resilient move. Still he finds ways to keep this game going with 45 seconds. Vidit, in his mind, this game is not over. He obviously is still in fight or flight mode. Rook D5 will be met with a check on E1. The king can move forward to D7. It can drop back to F5. At this point, I think you have choices.
But
at this point, I think you have choices.
King F5, Bishop E7. Aren't we getting the type of trade that we asked for? No, because Bishop takes E7 check, forces the rooks off the board.
Exactly. Rook takes e7. Rook d8 is a lovely mechanism. I think black has to deliver another check, but king to g4. Black can deliver another check, but king h5. Wow.
And then bishop e7 is met by rook f5 check, very importantly.
Incredible. Incredible. So just to bring everybody up to speed, if you're watching this and you're confused, like what are they going for? White is trying to trade rooks at all costs. So white is this, which is not a mate threat, it's a threat of trading rooks. That is why black is trying to give a series of checks. Go ahead.
Was that a handshake? That was a handshake and a resignation. So finally, Vidit Gujrathi gets a win. At long last, he is the #1 rated player from India. He has overcome so many obstacles in his career. He's overcome obstacles today from Nodirbek Abdusattorov. But Vidit Gujrathi is now India #1. He's the top 10 player in the world, and he's in a 5-way tie for first place here in Wijk. What a performance from Vidit Gujrathi.
77 moves and a huge congratulations to Nodirbek for his resistance. You got to take your hat off to the Uzbek youngster. That guy would not give up. He made Vidit work for every single decimal point that composes the 1 point he gets from this win. Vidit with some amazing technique, Nodirbek with some amazing defense.